Welcome to our reading on spit. So, if you remember from the first part of this lesson in lesson 5.1, we saw that when we put the graham cracker in our mouth and started chewing on it, we saw a change in the cracker, right? It broke down, it got mushier, and it started to taste sweeter. So we know that there must be some change happening to that cracker in our mouth. We also saw in the graphs that there was a change in the amount of glucose and the amount of complex carbohydrates. So the glucose increased and the complex carbohydrates decreased. So we're going to try and figure out what is happening in our mouth to cause those changes. So make sure you're looking at page 3 in your packet. We're going to read and we're going to highlight and annotate. So make sure you have a highlighter and you have something to write with. All right, let's get rolling. What's spit? Pull a lollipop out of your mouth and you'll see it. Wake up after drooling on your pillow and you'll feel it. That's right, it's spit, also known as saliva. Saliva is a clear liquid that's made in your mouth 24 hours a day, every day. It's made up mostly of water with a few other chemicals. The slippery stuff is produced by the salivary glands. All right, let's go back and highlight our definition here. Saliva is a clear liquid that is made in your mouth 24 hours a day. It is mostly water and a few other chemicals. And it's made by our salivary glands. These glands are found on the inside of each cheek, on the bottom of the mouth, and under the jaw at the very front of the mouth. They secrete or ooze about 2 to 4 pints of spit into your mouth every day. So they secrete 2 to 4 pints. Oh my goodness. So if you picture the little milk cartons you get with lunch, that is a half pint. So that's 4 to 8 of those milk containers every day. That's how much spit you make. Crazy, right? All right, so let's look at our next paragraph. Spit is super for lots of reasons. Saliva wets food and makes it easier to swallow. So that sounds important. Saliva wets food and makes it easier to swallow. So that's one important use of saliva. Without saliva, a grilled cheese sandwich would be dry and difficult to gulp down. It also helps the tongue by allowing you to taste. A dry tongue can't tell how things taste. So it helps the tongue by allowing you to taste. Helps the tongue by allowing you to taste. All right, let's take a moment and add some notes here to what we've done so far. So, role of saliva. So we have this 1. Saliva wets our food and makes it easier to swallow. 2. Helps the tongue by allowing you to taste. All right, it looks like we have another one coming up down here. Spit helps begin, here's our 3, helps begin the process of digestion. So those are our rules of saliva. So let's read this next paragraph and find out some more. So spit helps begin the process of digestion. Before food hits your stomach, saliva starts to break it down while the food's still in your mouth. So saliva starts to break it down while the food's still in your mouth. It does this with the help of enzymes. That's going to be an important word, which are special chemicals found in saliva. Amylase, which aids in the digestion of complex carbohydrates, is one kind of enzyme that can be found in your mouth. Amylase sounds like it's something important, especially since it mentions complex carbohydrates. So we're going to go ahead and circle amylase. That sounds important. And it aids in the digestion of complex carbohydrates. Oh, we might have a good explanation for what's going on with that change in glucose and complex carbohydrates. Right. The combination of chewing food and coating it with saliva makes the tongue's job a bit easier. It can push wet, chewed food toward the throat more easily. Saliva also cleans the inside of your mouth. Oh, here's another job of saliva. Cleans the inside of your mouth and rinses your teeth to help keep them clean. So this was job number 4. Job number 4 for our saliva. Helps keep the inside of your mouth clean. But remember, spit isn't enough to keep teeth in tip-top shape. You still need to brush and floss. The enzymes in saliva also help fight off infections in the mouth. It's a 5. The enzymes in saliva also help fight off infections in the mouth. Most school age kids have just the right amount of saliva. Sometimes a person may not have enough saliva, but this is usually the result of certain medicines and treatments, some kinds of diseases, or old age. All right, so let's do a little review of our reading. Saliva is a clear liquid made in your mouth. It's made up of mostly water with a few other chemicals, and you secrete 2 to 4 pints of it every day. And then we have the role or job of saliva. Number 1, it wets food and makes it easier to swallow. 2, it helps the tongue by allowing you to taste. 3, spit begins the process of digestion because saliva starts to break down food while it's still in your mouth. Enzymes are special chemicals in your saliva. Amylase aids in the digestion of complex carbohydrates. Another job of saliva is to clean the inside of your mouth and rinse your teeth to help keep them clean. And then it helps fight off infections in the mouth.